Here, this is Artifact 1 for Standard 1.1, ISTE Criterion 2, Setting Professional Learning Goals to explore and apply approaches made possible by technology and reflecting on their effectiveness. My two professional learning goals were to design and implement a lesson plan, incorporating technology to foster collaboration and students' understanding of the rhetorical modes of argumentative writing in my AP English Language Composition course at Cass High School in Bartow County. My second goal was to foster a classroom environment where students would be able to utilize digital productivity tools and collaborative platforms to elevate engagement and knowledge acquisition. I was able to reach these goals by developing a project for students to complete a Nearpod presentation for the class with embedded formative quizzes, videos, and polls over one of the rhetorical modes. Students then had to use Canva to create an infographic for the students to use as a reference. Here you will see my group assignment page with directions, a rubric that I used, and a text with possible essays for students to read in the various modes, as well as a presentation schedule. Here is a digital lesson plan template that I encourage students to utilize. And at the bottom, you will see that I encourage students to use a checklist as a method of scaffolding. They created, or completed rather, a reflection over the process where they would give me feedback as to necessary changes for next time, and an extension opportunity for those students ready for acceleration. I was able to reach the second goal, which is having students use digital platforms such as Nearpod, Canva, and Office 365, Word docs, and spreadsheets to collaborate and create artifacts that they would use for the lesson. Next is Artifact 1, Standard 4.2, ISTE Criterion 13, where I co-learned with students about a new digital tool. This standard requires candidates to collaborate and co-learn with students to discover and use new digital resources while diagnosing and troubleshooting issues that come about. While I was thinking about using Nearpod for the first time, Bartow County had just purchased this last year for the county, and this was something that we were very much encouraged to employ. So I thought, well, if I'm going to get my students to create a Nearpod presentation, then I should probably learn how to navigate the platform. Therefore, I was able to practice myself in creating a Nearpod lecture by presenting the Rhetorical Modes project directions. Here I learned how to create a page, embed a video, and embed a PDF. I also worked to create a quiz and have students work through answering some questions and even play a game while in the Nearpod lecture. Here's the student data, which is an artifact for the fact that my students were co-learning with me. They were a part of this process, learning how to navigate the system as students, for they would soon be the teacher and need to know what the students who they would teach their rhetorical mode to would be, facing. There were successes and challenges for both the students and I. For the successes, I learned how to employ a super interactive and engaging new platform for lecturing and student-paced instruction. So now I use Nearpod almost weekly. There's so many already provided lessons and practice examples through Nearpod, and I can easily now upload and embed PDFs, audio files, quizzes, videos, etc. And the best part is that I can collect data for student proficiency tracking and remediation purposes. The biggest challenge for me was working through how to embed questions for lifetime formative assessment feedback, and it was very interesting to learn how to use a program simultaneously while tasking my students to utilize it. I do find Nearpod lectures very time-consuming if you want them done correctly. However, very worth it. My students had similar successes and challenges. My students watched many how-to videos when they became aware of how daunting some of the tasks were within the platform. any person's first time, it's going to be a little difficult to navigate. But once they were able to look at these how-to videos, which I helped them locate, they were able to acquire their learning in a unique way by learning and then reteaching in an authentic setting. The biggest challenge for my students was creating their products in a timely fashion to completion. They did find Nearpod difficult to navigate, as mentioned before, but with the help of how-to videos, trial and error, and patience, the result was ultimately effective.